How the heck are ya? I am Fastidious. Welcome to my channel. Should you summon on tomorrow's special ancient summoning banner for the brand new Northerner Chaotic Fighter Lu Bu and the legendary Piercer Lord, the phenomenal Iovar? I'm going to help answer that question in this video. We're going to start off with a little showcase of Lu Bu. You can see the damage behind me. I just beat a very interesting comp, all physical DPS, Northerner fighters behind the wall, in Gear Raid 121, and Lu Bu did just out-damage Ardia. He is shockingly good with his AoE damage. This result does not mean he's better than Ardia. Ardia is better than him, but we'll go over his kit briefly in the middle of this video, and I don't know where all the damage is always coming from, per se. His multipliers don't seem very high, but then the result is always high. The numbers you see on your screen are high as it's happening, so it's pretty interesting. I'm going to give like my little review of Lu Bu. I thought we could go over here onto Fastidious.gg and I'll do my tier ratings live so you can get a sense. He's very, very good. Is he phenomenal? I honestly don't know. Kind of a downside of the test server, it's very hard to test PvP content. And I think that's where he'll shine the most, but all I can really do is theorycraft. What I can tell you now, if you want the TLDR, big time AoE DPS. If you have Diao Chan, his ult lasts forever. Even with all that, I don't know why his AoE multipliers are so consistent and so high, because when you actually read them, they don't seem that high. But everything I've tested him in, the damage is a lot. Is he better than Ardia? No, he's not. But there's going to be content where he's absolutely going to shine. He's exceptionally good. You can compare him to Ardia. So even being in an inequality, head-to-head, a comparison with Ardia, I think is very high praise. He's very good. Is he exceptional? I think I cannot answer that for you. I can show you this showcase here. I can tell you my thoughts. We can do the first impression tier ratings on Fastidious.gg, best website in the realm. And then we'll you're going to have to come to your conclusion, or maybe wait a couple days until people on the global server or the Forerunner have tested him in PvP, because I don't have anyone to fight against. It would have to be other CCs on the test server, and it's just very suboptimal. But I think he's got a ton of potential. We'll get into it. Very good hero, and the bond skill he gives Diao Chan is underwhelming, but what she gives him is pretty tremendous. You notice I haven't mentioned Iovar. Iovar's a known commodity. We'll cover him at the end. Iovar is the reason you should summon on this banner. I firmly believe you should never summon on a special ancient summoning for the other hero, even if it's Ardia, even if it's Carnelian, blah, 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 even if it's whoever you're most in love with, right? You should do it for the Lord. There are exceptions. If you love PvP, you should be summoning for Uridin, right? That's so important for GVG kind of stuff. If you are a big spender, or you just have tons saved, then you should do whatever you want. But in general, if you want to min-max, you make these decisions because of the Lord, not because of the non-Lord hero paired on the banner. So you make the decision because of Iovar. I am going to summon on the banner. I'll tell you right now, I'm excited for Lu Bu. I hope I get him, but I'm summoning because of Iovar. If it was Elder and Lu Bu, I would not be summoning. But on the same token, if I didn't have Ardia, if it was Elder and Ardia or Demi and Ardia, I also wouldn't be summoning. You make the decision, in my opinion, because of the Legendary Lord. All right, let's get into it. You probably want to see. So let's head into this battle. Interesting little comp. I thought it would work, but it was cool that it easily worked, as you're going to see on our first try. Blue Stacks has been slow as heck today. Come on now. You can see POD is off. All right, come on. Seriously. The lag of all lags. POD is off. Before we head in, I'll just show you Lu Bu and Ardia's gear, as comparable as I can really get it. You can look at the additional stuff like that. Very, very, very comparable gear for the two of them. You'll see with Ardia here, it's the same kind of story, right? They're both in Infernal Roar, all a triple attack bonus, both in very good heavy hitter, top of the line Warlord. So you could make a strat like this work on your own account, but you're not going to have gear like this on a first clear, so you have to bring more stuff than I did instead of just do this fun thing with Lu Bu, Ardia, and Estrid. If you want to see how close the gear is, you can see a gear swap. The gear Lu Bu's wearing is what would be coming on to Ardia, so it has a little bit less attack, 694 less attack. It has a little bit more crit damage, 11% more crit damage. It has 4 more attack speed. Forget the crit rate. They're both capped. A little bit of rage regen. It's very comparable. Ardia is in a maxed out Eye of Sin, and then Lu Bu is in a base promo exclusive. His exclusive is very good. Any content where there's lots of mobs to kill, this is great. His whole kit kind of centers around Chaos Strike. We'll get into that after the battle. It's going to be very brief. You can tell this is very casual today. But it seems to happen more than it should. The best it should be happening is like every 7 seconds. And then if this triggers once every 30 seconds, it happens in a 3-second interval. But it seems really constant. And it seems to be hitting harder than I would have guessed it would hit. That's the TLDR. All right, let's get into it. Let me show you the battle. No one is in Invigoration or Wings of Grace except for Bubba. So I'm going to place him first to keep it fair so no one else gets it. This is going to be a very, very unique comp, guys, just so you know. You've not seen something like this, I would guess, unless another creator recently did something like this, because it's a lot of new heroes, and it's very weird placements. So we're going to push Bubba here so he can cover everything, namely the 3 spots behind the wall. This is why Bubba is the GOAT. He's the only hero in the game that can do this. You could put like Diao Chan here. She'd cover these 2. You could put Constance back here, but she'd be taking one of the spots. If you want 3 fighters covered, and you want to do crazy stuff, and you want to have the best time ever, Beelzebub he's so good. It's crazy. I'm going to wait till we're at 37 costs, so we're deploying them at the same time, 17 plus 20. I want to keep it even and fair. And once we get these guys down, I'll throw it on 2x. All right, there you go. Bubba is ready with the inspiration. Let's also get Estrid down. You might be wondering what Hotsit's doing here. She'll put out a little damage, but I'm never going to ult with Hotsit. She's just there for her hits to bounce around for the defense break. Let me put myself here. I think this is where I'll be the least in the way. So let's wait for them to come down a second. All right, now let's ult with Beelzebub. So Lu Bu does something very strange, okay? It's not really listed in his kit. They talk about max potential, but he has a potent surge. So you might notice everyone else's ult bar when it's loading up is going to be purple and blue, and when it's going down, it's orange, but he's yellow right now. This is something previously only 2 units in the entire game can do, Uridin and Valderon, the OG himself. And it's basically you have one effect that's kind of good when you do your ult, or you let your ult load up again, and you do something called a potent surge. You do something called a potent surge. But for him, they're not calling it potent surge. But that's what it is. I've tested it enough. You ideally want to let it go twice. There's lots of wave-based content. It's pretty cheap at only 800, and he cycles really fast because of his passive. So when you can, you want it full yellow, 200%, not 100%. But I am going to just use it now because why not? We'll get Hotsit down here so she can start bouncing around, give us some defense break. We'll ult with Estrid too. Oh, I forgot to ult with him. Whatever. We'll ult when the next big bunch comes out. It's fine. It really is fine. We're going to be in no danger. Place Hollow here, pointed out. We will get a little healing from Artemis for his heal block. Probably could get away. Probably could do this whole run without Artemis. I don't know if I want to try that while I'm recording right now, but I do think it would work, especially with this gear without Artemis. But you want these guys to have low health. Basically, it's better that way. I am going to already ult with Lu Bu now, because as you're going to see, with Diao Chan, his ult lasts a very long time. I don't know why it says 35 seconds here. It lasts 40 seconds. Very weird, actually. I'm just first time noticing that bug. Actually, maybe it is only lasting, but we'll go back to the skills. It should be lasting 40, unless I forgot to skill him, in which case this is insane. Have I been testing him for 2 hours and he's unskilled? That would really be something. Okay, let's place Artemis here. That would really be something. All right, let's trigger. You'll see I'll never ult with Hotsit. It doesn't matter. I can already just ult again with Bubba. Let's point Eloin out because I don't want her healing Ardia. She's here just for her passive. Dang, I'll tell you, I'm going to start being a lot more impressed if Lu Bu this whole time was not fully skilled. I thought I had skilled him the other day, but I mean, there's obviously a chance I didn't. See, I didn't even actually use Artemis there. Let's use him now. Excuse me. Yeah, we're such overkill on these builds. Let's be honest. It's old. He's gonna tear this up. Also, you'll see the key mechanism where he does a normal AoE, and then his Chaos Strike. His Chaos Strike is a big AoE. That has wide range. That hits everything. So you'll see he'll hit the people on the sides too, whereas Ardia's forever in her one line. Estrid, when she ults, does get wider, but not 2 tiles in front, only to the side. So this is a big advantage he has. All right, let's go with Artemis here. Let's get Hollow going. You see, I still haven't ulted with Hotsit. I'm not going to. So I'd say right now things are kind of stacked up against Lu Bu. My timings have not lined up perfectly with like Bubba and him. But it's okay. We'll do one more Potent Surge at the end, and I think that already will be enough. You can see we're definitely going to win this fight. Yeah, let's let Lu Bu go a little longer. I'm waiting for the heals to come. Okay, we can ult with him now. There we go. Now it's ult with Artemis. Now we're just going to delete all this stuff. We'll get one more ult here. Obviously, Ardia's on auto. We get one more ult here, though, with Beelzebub while Lu Bu's still going, and then also Estrid. And now it's just cleanup crew. Ardia's ulting now, too, so she's lining up with Bubba. In the end, this worked out pretty well. And you can see that we've got basically half the health left on the wall for a very strange, unique little showcase. I thought this was a good way to do a head-to-head. If you want to see other content, I can put out a full Lu Bu guide. I could do that on Monday or Tuesday. If you guys want, you can let me know what you want to see in the comments below. He's not going to be a guild boss kind of guy. The only boss he'll be good at mainly is like Conqueror or this new Phantasmal, whatever, hybrid codex thing. But he's very much geared towards like big waves of mobs where you need a lot of AoE. So let's see how this shook out. I'm curious about the results. Actually, this time Ardia ran away with it. So it kind of does come down to the timing. But you can see he's completely and utterly viable. I said it from the beginning. I'm saying it again now. He is not Ardia. The things Ardia can do, the longer range she has, the weirdness if you can keep her unhealed the whole time, how strong she gets. In my opinion, that is unmatched. But Lu Bu putting out this big kind of damage in all the situations we've seen, combined with the interesting things in his kit I want to talk about now, at least make him a very good hero. Again, I'm going to reiterate this a few times. I can only theory craft part of Lu Bu, right? Like, I know he's going to be good, but I really don't know how good until he arrives. So we're going to find out together. The reason I mention if you want to do a big guide and see more stuff, I have used him in 2 different runs for Gear Dungeon 2. He works, as you might guess, phenomenally well on the bottom. I'd say he ties for like the best in the game. Like him and Ardia are probably the 2 best, and then maybe Estrid. Then you can get to like Callista and Volca, but he completely dominates this bottom lane. I was pretty excited. I was thinking maybe he could do Valeria-y things, because we're going to talk about his kit, how he has this state when he's in the deep descent when he can't die. I thought maybe he could do the left. There could be a way to gear it, but it certainly wasn't easy, and he certainly was not as good at it as Valeria. And because he can't do the crazy Ardia stuff and his range is a little shorter, he also couldn't do the Ardia stuff on the left. He could work on the left totally, like the way you use Estrid. He would do that at least as well, unless you need the defense breaks. But he's a good option there. But for really special stuff on the left, I don't think he's going to be capable of that, at least without any standard builds. The bottom, though, he was phenomenal. So if you want to see him in more stuff like that, you can let me know. I'm going to need a lot of demand for it, though, because, yeah, I don't know. It's hero guides, they take a lot out of me, baby. I mean, even just this took frickin' forever. Okay, so let's talk about Lu Bu. Then we'll do the tier ratings. Then we'll do a quick discussion about Iovar. Then we put a bow on this whole dang thing. What do you say? So let's go to Lu Bu over here. You can see I start him. Let's talk. Oh, yeah, he's max skill. Okay, so I don't know what's going on here. Let's actually talk about it. His ult is 25 seconds, right? Maybe this is a weird thing. From the bond skill, the partner skill, he gets from getting Diao Chan, which obviously is perma unlocked. That's another thing. I can't test Lu Bu without Diao Chan because they gave us a bunch of copies of each. I would love, Moonton, if you're watching this, I'm also going to I've requested it in the past, I'll request it again. I'd love to be able to toggle on and off the bond skills, because perpetually on the test server, we always have them unlocked. I would like to see what it's like without it. But you saw, guys, it was 35 seconds. I knew I skilled him up. You can see here, 25, and then you get an extra 15, both in the deep descent mode that you trigger during Dark Star, his ultimate, or the insta trigger when you deploy him. I don't really get that. I mean, you don't have to be a brilliant mathematician to figure out 15 plus 25 is 40, not 35. So you guys saw that 35. I will report that to the devs. I'm surprised I haven't noticed it until now. I guess I haven't needed to super slow-mo, look at the camera, and then come back. But yeah, the ultimate's very cool. But let's start with the talent. I'm not going to go so deep into it. We're not going to read every word. Basically, on these 12-second intervals, he does this Chaos Strike thing, and it's 10 enemies, where his basic attack is only 5 enemies, which is very standard. Like, that's what Ardia does. That's what Valkyria does. Actually, Ardia does 7. Ardia's crazy, but that's what Valkyria does, if I can find her quickly. Let me just show you. I'll show you, like, Valkyria and Eris. They all do 5. 5. Where's Valkyria? Oh, she is... No, I did Northerner. Why can't I find her? Am I actually blind? I don't have her built? What the heck? Excuse me, Valkyria. Do I need to add an Arbiter? Do I not have Valkyria? Oh, here she is. What the heck? They don't say it, but it's 5. All that for that. Callista, 5. It's very standard. Ardia is just Ardia. Ardia is the best. So normally it's 5, but he does, with frequency, do these Chaos Strikes that is 10, and it's not just the line in front. You know, he has this standard range over here that looks something like this, 3 tiles. It widens out. It's like 3 lanes wide. So if you can imagine like an Ingrid Blast during the Ingrid AoE, it's kind of like that. Comparing him to Ingrid is not really fair to him because she's Ingrid. But it's that kind of width, if you can understand that. So it happens every 12 seconds. However, when his HP drops below 65%, it happens every 10 seconds. It knocks down to 10. Furthermore, when he does Dark Star, or when you first deploy him, and he's in this deep descent state, he's actually going to do it even more frequently. So you subtract another 3 seconds. So that's the 7 seconds I've discussed. And that's basically as fast as he can be doing it. And every 7 seconds for that big blast, it's pretty good. But you kind of see where I'm coming from. Let me move myself down. 320%. I mean, that's not that much every 7 seconds. But the damage reflects it. Like if you want to see, when I show you, if we do a guide, in Gear Dungeon 2, in Gear Raid 5, he blows up the bottom. Like it's really easy. I don't really know where that comes from. I honestly don't. His damage has surprised me in a good way. So that's going to be that. And you'll see that that's the Chaos Strike. He's got this deep descent. And this is the thing that I couldn't really show you in the Gear Raid 1 and that we'd have to really show in PvP, I think. I think he could be a superstar in something like GVG. He could be really good in AoE Arena. Because of something like this, when he ults, he goes to deep descent. When he's in deep descent, he's already at that lower health point, right? He just gets a new health pool. So it locks him into that -2 second thing. So now you're really, you're that -2 second. Combine that with the fact that you've ulted to reach that another -3 seconds, assuming you did the Potent Surge. We'll break down the Potent Surge versus not Potent Surge. It's a complicated kit. But when you're in there, he does a lot of other cool things. So he brings the health down. He has a separate health pool, and he can't die. All that can happen is he runs out of that health pool, he comes back to his normal health pool, and he gets a half health heal, 50% of his health back. So most of the time, he's going to come back to full health. Depends how you left him when you entered that state. But it is pretty impressive. I guess this is the 35 seconds. They're showing the timer on the deep descent, but it really doesn't make sense. Like there's a lot of weird times going on here because the actual duration of the ultimate should be 25. I guess they're adding that on, but then it goes up to 40 because you add the 15 here. So that's the deep descent. You get that separate pool. Pretty dang good stuff. And, also he's putting out slows when he's in there. And this is why I thought he could do a Valeria-y thing. I was like, he's getting most of the kill. And then, if he does get hit, then he just leaves the deep descent, goes back to normal. That's kind of the gist of how he works. It is confusing. I get it. Let's talk about that Potent Surge now. We have to compare him to a couple other guys. So let's go to the fighters in the chaotic order. You can see if we go over here to Mr. Uridan, you can see he attacks up to 10 enemies in a larger range ahead. However, when in Potent Surge, and they explain it, this is when he can continue to recover after reaching his cap. He can continue to build rage for a second fill-up, that gold fill-up. Then he does something else. So they say when Potent Surge, he still attacks 10 enemies, and now instead of 500% AoE, it's 1200% AoE, and he inflicts stun. It's very clear. If you go to Valderon, it's the same idea. Gains 1 stack of something that's glitching on the test server, but when he's in Potent Surge, when it reaches his maximum, he gains 2 stacks of this must be chaotic vitality. I don't know what this glitch is. Test server is weird. And he also inflicts the vulnerability. So it's explained very clearly. For Lu Bu, they don't do it, but I promise you this is what's happening. So when you ult, he immediately enters Deep Descent. That is his normal ult. If it's Potent Surge, so you charged up his rage bar twice and it's fully gold, 200%, then he immediately enters Deep Descent and he gains the good stuff. So that's when it gets kind of crazy. That's when he gets the 40%. That's when he gets the reduction of the 3 seconds, right? That's when you can get to that great situation where it's 7 seconds and he's got his attack through the roof. But I don't really get it because you have to let it charge up twice. You saw even in that long Gear Raid 1 battle, I wasn't able to do it that much. His base attack is not shockingly high. It's solid at 54-18, but that's more like an arrogance than it is a Uridan or an Ardia. I mean, Uridan's coming in at 6189. Ardia's at almost 8,000. Let me show you Ardia, excuse me. Ardia's coming in at 7,976. If we take a peek at Valderon, he's coming in at 6,649. Even Valeria, someone else I've compared him to, she's coming at 6,172. He's much closer to that like OG range with someone like Arrogance. So if I can find Arrogance, I don't know why I can't find anyone today. Like, oh, because I clicked Infernal. That's why. Jeez Louise. All right, where are you, Arrogance, buddy? Let's go over here and take a peek. Arrogance at 5248. So he's in that realm, you know. He's in like the mid 5,000s, 540 something. I believe that was what Lu Bu was. Let's take another peek. Yeah, he's coming at 5,418. So it's solid. And you could see how with the 40% attack boost from the Potent Surge, when he's got the max potential double load up on the ultimate, it'd be good. But his damage is still really good when he wasn't doing that. So I don't get where it's coming from. There's a couple other things to consider. There's the basic we talked about. There's this passive over here when he's not in Deep Descent, so he's not ulting or he wasn't just deployed. Every single attack is going to give him 1.5% rage. Remember, when he does Chaos Strike, he loses some of his health, 15%. Whenever he loses a 20% chunk from that and multiple sources, however it's happening, he's going to get even more rage. And then those effects double when he's under 50%. That's why he's able to get it going really fast, and he can actually get that Potent Surge faster than someone like Uridan or Valderon. And then he's got this second passive, Power Hungry. When his HP is low, he gets bigger damage, things like that. He can get more rage. When allies' health drops, it's cool, but I still don't get where all the DPS is coming from. All in all, good hero, big slapper, nice AoE. He's good. How good? That is very much to be seen. Let's do my little theory crafting now. These things will be subject to change. How do I think it's going to play out? Guild Boss 1, let's give him like a B+. He'll hit hard, but it's AoE. He's not built for this at all. Not going to be that special. Guild Boss 2, I really don't see it, especially with those factions. Let's give him like a B or B+ again. I give him that just because if you were on like an early mid-game account and you had him, you probably would put him in there because he hits hard enough. But yeah, Gear Aid 1, I'll give him an S, not an S+. The only reason Ardia has an S+ is because she can reach the boss and do cheesy things. Gear Aid 2, he'll be really good. If Ardia is an S, we'll give him an A+. I don't like using fighters in later rounds of Gear Aid 2, later stages, and Ardia gets the benefit from the longer range and from being Ardia. So we'll give him 1 knock under. Unusable in Gear Aid 3. Gear Aid 4, he also sucks. After like this first 2 or 3 stages, he's unusable. Gear Aid 5, he's completely phenomenal. He can't be Ardia, who like Ardia would get triple S if I gave that for specific content, but he's as good as any option in the whole game. He's top tier for the bottom row. AMR, he's going to be completely goated. You have huge chunks of time, especially on, I guess it would be 19 and 21. You can always get that Potent Surge up. He could like maybe solo DPS it with enough gear. Certainly could be your lead DPS. Void Rift, he'll be very, very good because he doesn't really die. Even though he's chaotic, he goes to that other mode, that Deep Descent. He gets that other pool of health. He'll be very good there. Same kind of story and campaign. Faction Trials, it doesn't really matter. We'll give him an S. Honestly, Ardia doesn't deserve an S+ here either. Valkyra's the true S+ of the Northerners, and there is no chaotic faction trial. By the way, if it's not clear why I'm comparing them, they're strictly unique as the only, ranged AoE fighters that are Northerner and chaotic. It's a natural comparison. Conqueror, I think he'll be phenomenal. It's either S or S+. I guess I'll go S+ because you can run him in a Gon team, you can run him in a Valderon team, but really the Gon teams, you could see him being in that meta team, Uridan, Gon, Lu Bu, Ardia. That feels like it would happen. Styx, let's give him like a B. Like, not a good choice, but of course you could use him. Arbiter Frost, unusable. He doesn't have any damage over time. All of this. So then Guild Wars BP. I actually haven't taken a clean look at his battle power. We can do a little head-to-head since they're wearing very comparable gear. Kind of the same place as Ardia. This is a whole column you can generally disregard because we have not finished updating it, but it's just an objective look at what kind of BP contribution a hero can give in Guild Wars. So if Ardia is an A, he's clearly an A. It's the same idea. Defense, I want to give him an S+, but I can't because I haven't tested him. I'd be shocked if he's worse than an S because chaotic units are so good and he's going to be so hard to kill. He's going to be so pesky and he can do such weird, confusing things. I think he could be very meta. You know what? I'm going with my gut. I think he will be S+. I think Guild Wars defense is the place he's going to be the best, but I can't prove it. I could be wrong. It could turn out he's only solid and he goes down to A+ or A. I'm fine with that. I'd rather get out ahead of it. I think he's going to be that good. Single target, he's not going to be broken like Ardia. Ardia is like an AoE that owns single target because she's Ardia. I'm going to say that. I've said that a lot in this video. Here, he's probably going to be like an A. Like, he'll totally work in Valderon teams and stuff. Maybe it will be higher, A+ or S, but it's not going to be at this level. Doesn't have the range. Doesn't have the crazy scaling. AoE, I don't see how he won't be an S+. Both with Elder and with Valderon or with Gon. I think he's going to be definitively excellent. So you can see he's kind of shaping up close to an S+. For now, I do not feel comfortable giving him an S+. I'm going to give him an S, but I certainly do think he has the potential. I think he's a really, really solid unit. So we want to wrap things up. Let's talk about Iovar. This is going to be very brief. Iovar is the unquestioned top Piercer Lord with no competition in 90% of the content in this game. The only argument comes from stuff where you have Araka, and like for that thing, you want someone to be a melee unit. For a certain comp, you want a melee unit, or you need a warm body to block something. You know, Araka has a little bit of CC. She can do some cute stuff. She can do a little bit of damage nowadays since they fixed poison and they buffed her. But Iovar's better. If it's head to head, he's better in every way. And then there's certain comps where you'll go Ardia. Am I saying Ardia? Well, you go Araka because she's the melee unit. But Iovar is that good. He really is that guy. I actually think he's become underrated, which is crazy to say. I think because that tier of Valderon and then certainly Ingrid Praetus is so huge, people sleep on the other guys. But Iovar dominates this game. He really does. Anyone that has him will tell you that. He is one notch below the Valderons and the Ingrids and the Praetuses, but he's one notch below. He's like the 4th or 5th best legendary lord in the entire game. And he's just phenomenal. So if you're summoning on the banner, I think you should be summoning for Iovar. I want to say one thing. I still might make a video on this one day. But for the longest time, and I mean months, I misunderstood Iovar's lord skill. So the first part's the same as Araka, and it's actually the same as Lunaria or Eliza, just 15% instead of 10%, and the same of any legendary lord. Increases the faction team members' basic attributes by 15%. That is standard. The next line is the same as the other 3 Piercer Lords I'll mention. Nothing's different. The team members have their attack ranges increased. Then the next thing, the final line, the final sentence, this is the uniquely Iovar thing. And for months, I misunderstood this. So it says, when deployed, faction team members' damage increases by 15% every 20 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So after 60 seconds, after a minute, they have a 45% damage boost on everything. So I read this for the longest time as when Iovar is deployed, all his faction team members' damage increases by 15% every 20 seconds, up to 3 times. I've tested it. People have tested it. People have corrected me. I've known it for a while. I just haven't covered it in a video. That's not true. It's saying when faction team members are deployed, they have their damage increased. It's phrased weird. So something about the translation confused me and I think confused others, but it's as simple as this. If you're a Piercer and Iovar is the Lord, he does not need to be deployed. You can test this for yourself if you have Iovar. Put an Idril down, wait 20 seconds, the damage goes up. Wait 40 seconds, the damage has gone up again. After a minute, the damage has gone up again. He does not need to be deployed. So it used to be thought that, well, actually, Araka is better in a lot of things because Iovar needs to be deployed. Sometimes you might not want to deploy him. Araka doesn't need to be deployed. False. That's not how this works. The way it is when the faction team member is deployed, they will have those increases. And you can actually test it because what you could do is deploy a Hex, 5 seconds later, deploy a Silas, 5 seconds later, deploy an Idril or whatever, or Calypso, and track it. And you'll see that the increases stagger by 5 seconds because it's when that teammate was placed. All right, should you summon? I think most people, yes, especially if you picked up Diao Chan. I think it's a strong bond. I think Lu Bu will scale well in the game. And I think it's a phenomenal banner because I think Lu Bu is good. Like I said, minimum good, potentially fantastic, and Iovar is excellent. If you already have Iovar, this is a skip. You don't go hunting for dupes on a banner like this. If you have Araka and you don't have Valderon, Ingrid, or Praetus, it's a hard skip. However, if you got those guys and you don't have Araka, this is a good time to go for Iovar. If you don't have any of the lords I mentioned, gut check. You know what's best for you. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. Interesting kind of video. If you liked it, let me know in the comments. If you didn't, let me know in the comments. Share with your mother. I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.